Tonight, we're going deep into Alabama's darkest corners, where history never really stayed buried. Across old hotels, abandoned hospitals, battlefields, cemeteries, and crumbling landmarks, people claim the past is still alive and watching. Some say these places are haunted by tragedy. Others say they're haunted by memory itself. Stay with me until the end, because the final location may be the most unsettling of them all. Deep in Birmingham stands a place where fire once shaped the future of industry, and where many believe the dead never left. Sloss furnaces operated for nearly a century, producing iron under brutal conditions that pushed workers to the edge of exhaustion, injury, and death. One of the most chilling stories tied to this place is that of a foreman named James Slag Wormwood, a man known for his cruelty. According to legend, he drove workers so hard that some never made it home. After his own death, visitors began reporting a shadowy figure lurking among the rusted catwalks, as if he still supervises the furnace floor. Today, guests and investigators describe footsteps echoing through empty halls, disembodied voices, and a heavy sensation that something unseen is standing just behind them. Opened in 1927, the Alabama Theater was once a symbol of glamour and escape. Families came here dressed in their finest clothes to watch films, listen to music, and lose themselves in the glow of the silver screen. But after decades of glory, the theater changed hands, fell quiet, and began carrying a different kind of audience. Employees and visitors have reported phantom applause, strange whispers in the balcony, and the sensation of being watched from the upper levels when no one is there. Some say a former projectionist still lingers in the booth, keeping watch over the old reels and lights. The building's elegant beauty makes the experiences even more unnerving. It feels less like a haunted ruin and more like a place that is still waiting for the show to begin. The Tutwiler Hotel in Birmingham has welcomed guests for over a century, but not every visitor is checked out. Built in the late 1800s, the hotel became a centerpiece of Southern hospitality, hosting travelers, politicians, and celebrities. Yet with long history comes long memory. Guests have described unexplained cold spots, lights switching on by themselves, and the sound of footsteps pacing the halls in the middle of the night. The most famous legend claims that a woman in white appears near the upper floors, drifting silently through the corridor before vanishing into the walls. Some staff members say certain rooms seem to hold on to energy long after the guests are gone, as if the hotel remembers everyone who ever slept there. In Huntsville, Maple Hill Cemetery is one of Alabama's oldest and largest burial grounds, and one of its most haunted. The cemetery dates back to the early 1800s, and over the decades it became the resting place for soldiers, politicians, children, and entire generations of local families. Visitors often report glowing orbs, phantom figures near the older graves, and a strange stillness that suddenly gives way to voices or footsteps. One of the most well-known legends involves the Wheaton House and the surrounding cemetery, where a young girl is said to wander among the stones. At night, the combination of towering monuments and thick mist turns the cemetery into something almost dreamlike, but many say the feeling is not peaceful at all. It feels active, alert, as if the dead are still moving through the rows. In Tuscaloosa stands the Dr. John R. Drish House, a Greek revival mansion with a tragic history. Built in the 1830s, it was once among the grandest homes in the region, but fires, loss, and decline slowly transformed it into one of Alabama's most infamous haunted houses. The most famous story centers on the Drish family and the mysterious fire that devastated the home. Since then, reports have spread of glowing lights in upper windows, the silhouette of a woman seen near the staircase, and unexplained sounds in the empty rooms. Locals say the house seems to burn in the dark, even when no flames are present. Whether it is memory, legend, or something far stranger, the Drish house remains a symbol of beauty consumed by tragedy. Mobile's Battle House Renaissance Hotel stands on land steeped in history, and many believe some of that history never left. The original Battle House opened in the 19th century and became one of the most celebrated hotels in the South. Over time, fire, renovation, and rebuilding reshaped the site, but stories of lingering spirits continued. Guests have reported hearing unexplained knocking, seeing doors open and close on their own, and feeling sudden cold air move through warm rooms. Some claims involve a woman in period clothing appearing near the elevator, while others describe an unseen presence moving through the ballroom. The hotel's polished surface hides its eerie reputation well. But behind the elegance, many believe the past still walks the corridors. At first glance, a library may seem like an unusual place for a haunting, but the B.B. Comer Memorial Library in Sylacauga has gained a reputation for more than old books and quiet study. Built in the early 20th century, the library has long been a center of learning and community. Yet visitors and staff have reported strange noises in empty rooms, books falling from shelves with no visible cause, and the sensation that someone is standing just out of sight between the aisles. Some stories even speak of a spectral child seen wandering through the building after hours. Because the library is so peaceful, the disturbances feel even more striking. Silence becomes a warning sign, and every creak in the floor sounds louder than it should. Old Cahaba was once Alabama's first state capital, but today it is one of the state's most haunted ghost towns. After political decline, flooding, and abandonment, the city slowly gave way to ruins, leaving behind empty streets, broken foundations, and stories that refuse to fade. Visitors often report ghostly lights in the woods, apparitions near the old cemetery, and the sound of phantom laughter drifting through the remains of the town. Some claim to have seen a mysterious woman in white wandering the grounds, while others describe full-bodied apparitions near the former jail site. What makes Old Cahaba so disturbing is not just the haunting stories, but the silence between them. The town feels frozen, like it is waiting for someone to return. Fort Morgan guards the mouth of Mobile Bay, and with its military history comes a long trail of death, war, and suffering. Built in the early 1800s, the fort played a major role in the Civil War, especially during the Battle of Mobile Bay. Over the years, soldiers, workers, and visitors have reported strange voices echoing in the tunnels, the smell of smoke where no fire exists, and figures in uniform appearing briefly before disappearing into stone walls. Some accounts mention a woman in gray who appears near the fort's openings at dusk. The combination of military history and isolation makes Fort Morgan feel like a place locked between time periods. Every corridor seems to hold the echo of a command long forgotten. Bryce Hospital in Tuscaloosa has one of the darkest reputations in Alabama. Opened in the 19th century as a psychiatric hospital, it was intended to treat patients humanely, but over time the institution became associated with suffering, overcrowding, and fear. Because of its history, Bryce has generated countless reports of paranormal activity. People describe hearing cries and footsteps in empty wings, seeing figures at windows, and feeling an overwhelming wave of sadness or pressure in certain rooms. Some say that if you stand long enough in the hallways, you can hear the building breathe. This is the kind of place that does not just feel haunted, It feels heavy, as though every wall absorbed decades of pain and refuses to let it go. From the rusted furnaces of Birmingham to the forgotten ruins of Old Cahaba, Alabama is filled with places where history and haunting seem to overlap. Some locations carry the echoes of tragedy. Others seem to hold on to something far more difficult to explain. But one thing is certain: these places are not just part of Alabama's past. They are part of its legend. If you enjoyed this journey into the haunted side of Alabama, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more dark documentary content, and leave a comment telling me which location you'd visit first, if you were brave enough.